Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. So, I hope you guys are enjoying these notary documents. Let's get into it. So, today we're going to be discussing a modification of child support. Now, this document, you would either be signing this for the petitioner or the respondent. I've never done this document with both the petitioner and the respondent. I've never done it, but it could happen. So, I want to give you two tips before we start here. I want you, when you talk to a person and they tell you that they want a modification of child support packet filled out, you need to ask them first, do they make $50,000 or more? If they say they make less than $50,000, you need to instruct them that they need to complete the short form financial affidavit. If they make more than $50,000 a year, you need to let them know they need to complete the long form financial affidavit. That's going to be within this packet. You don't have to do both of them. They have to choose which one is for their finances. And so you would ask them in the very beginning, because you want to tell them, go ahead and fill that out and don't sign it before you even arrive for this appointment, because it's going to be pages and pages about their finances. So they're going to need their check stubs. They're going to need their bank statements, their bills, everything like that. They're going to need all of that. It's going to take them a good, maybe at least 40 minutes to complete that portion of it. So they need to do all of that before you arrive, and just tell them, don't sign it. Okay. And one other thing, I'm just giving you a tip. It's not wrote in stone, but this is what I do personally. This packet with a short form contains 5 stamps. I will tell you, here in Florida, it's $10 a stamp. My travel fee is $25. I'm not completing this packet for less than $75. Now, if they live further, the price goes up. But ultimately, my fee is going to be $75 is what I would quote somebody for this packet, because it's going to take you some time. Even with them filling that out, they might have questions, and you're going to have to kind of assist them or guide them to let them know what goes where. That's going to take time. They're paying for your time and your stamps and your gas mileage and all of that. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. We're going to start with the modification of child support, the petition. The person's name, which is probably going to be the petitioner, or it might be the respondent. Their name would go here, and their personal information. So if they were married, if they weren't married, if they had kids outside of the marriage, whatever, all of that's their own personal information. They would put those things here. And in this right here, and then if they pay child support or anything like that, they're going to put that there. So this is all their own personal information. They are going to complete the documents in here, and you're just going to notarize your part. Okay. You'll come down here, and this portion is an explanation of why they want the modification. And then you'll come down further, and they can explain, they're going to write how much they want. They'll come down further. This is going to be the reason why they want a modification. And it's going to be like, why is it in the best interest of the children to get this modification? And so you'll come down, and they will just basically answer all of the questions about their situation. They're going to date it with 2022. You're going to inform them that they don't need to just write 22, and they need to write 2022 with the date. They're going to sign, and then they're going to fill all of this information out. So they're going to print their name, address, city, state, zip, their telephone number, and if they have a fax number, they can put that there. You'll come down further, and then that's when you will go ahead and notarize that they just signed that document. So you're going to put the date right here. It's a small space, but you're going to go ahead and fit that in there. You're going to print their name, because remember, when it says by, that's the person name. When it says me, that's your name. So you will print their name. You're going to sign your name. You're going to print your name. You're going to make sure you stamp it. You're going to select whether you personally know them or they produce identification and what type of identification. So if they gave you a driver's license or a state ID or an immigration card or anything like whatever it is that they've shown you, you need to write that here. And this is not going to be filled out. This is if somebody helped them fill this form out. So maybe they are from a different country and they can't write our language and they have somebody helping them. That person would fill this information out. When I first started doing these documents, I had no idea. So I literally was filling this out in every page. I didn't know any better. So ultimately, once I learned better, I did better. Alrighty, so we go down a little further, and this is what we were talking about. So either it's the short form or the long form. This is the financial affidavit. And you see here, it says under $50,000 of individual gross annual income. If that person makes under $50,000, this is the packet they are going to complete. So they're going to write their name, their occupation, the name of their job, and the address of their employer, the amount they make, so the pay rate, whether they get paid weekly, monthly, anything like that. And if they're unemployed, they would select here and then on a separate sheet of paper, write all of their information about being unemployed, why they're unemployed. And ultimately, I would notarize that. I would have them write that letter and I would just notarize it and use your acknowledgement stamp it on that handwritten letter and stamp it. So then you would come down further and basically all of this income, this is all income information. This is why I told you to have them to do this before you get here. They're going to need to know about their bank accounts, how much they have on hand, it just everything. This about their mortgage. Listen, all of this needs to be completed before you get there because you will be there a long time. So then you'll come down at the very end and then they would sign. So this part they're not going to do. You're going to let them know don't sign it. So they'll sign and date and write their information. So the printed name, address, city, state, zip, their email address, and if they have a fax number. They are going to put that there, and then definitely the date also with the year 2022. And it's going to be, the state of Florida is already here, but if whatever county you're in, you will put your county, you're going to put your date, the person's name, and all of your notarial information. So your stamp, the type of identification they provided. You'll go down further. And now this is just the first page of the long form affidavit. Now, if they make more than $50,000, they don't need to complete the short one. They need to complete this one. So they're only going to choose one affidavit packet for this, okay? So, and it says right here, if you make more than $50,000. And you can see, basically, they would fill out their name and all of their information. You see, I put here, only complete one, long or short. You'll come down here, and I just wrote here, the long form contains 10 pages by itself that needs to be completed. So it's long for a reason. So if they do need to complete that one, you need to make sure that they complete it before you get there. Okay? You're going to come down, and this document here, it's a notice of social security number. So that person would provide their social security number, their date of birth, and if they have any children, they're going to write the children's name, date of birth, and social security numbers. Alrighty, and then you'll come down here, and you're going to notarize that document. So they would sign, date, their information here, and you would notarize the date, the person's name, and all of your normal notarial information. Once again, this is going to be blank. You'll keep going. Now we're at the motion to deviate from the child support guidelines. So you're going to select whether you are notarizing for the petitioner or the respondent. So whichever one they are, they're going to select it. And then they're going to choose which one is accurate for their situation. And they're going to only choose one. So either they're saying that they want more support than whatever the guidelines is, or they want less support. So ultimately, once they figure that out, they're going to go ahead. If anything else, they can write here. They can write it in. And they're going to finish completing this information right here about their finances. And then they would come down here. They're going to sign, print, address, city, state, zip. They're going to date, and you're going to remind them because they might forget, 2022. So as they're writing at the end, you just go ahead and just repeat the date. And they would finish their information here. And you would go ahead and you would notarize this document. So you would once again put the date, the person's name. You would sign your name, print your name. Don't forget your county. You're going to stamp, write the type of identification that was provided, and select that they produce identification unless you know them personally. We're going to leave this blank again. You're going to come down, and once again, now we are at the designation of the current mailing address and email address. So the person will write their name here, and they're going to write their personal information here. So their address, city, state, zip, their phone number, if they have a fax number, their email address, if they want to. And then you're going to come down here, and also they're going to certify that that this was mailed, if they faxed it or whatever it is, or they hand delivered it. They're going to write the date, and they would go ahead and sign it, and you are going to notarize it. And so basically this is going to be making sure that the courthouse always has their current address. You see right here where it says, I understand that I must keep the clerk's office or opposing party notified of my current mailing address, right? So this form with all of that information is going to be mailed or emailed or faxed to them. And you're going to go ahead, they'll sign it. You're going to notarize the document. You're going to select whether you know them personally or they produce identification, what type of identification. And that would be the end of this packet. Now, it's not bad if you go ahead and you have them do that financial part ahead of time. But if you don't, this will possibly be a 2-hour appointment. I'm letting you know ahead of time. And that is the end of this packet. I want to thank you so very much for coming by my channel and going over these documents with me. And hopefully, if you get an appointment that requires this document to be notarized, you'll feel more comfortable because now you have seen it, you know what to expect, and you know how to charge if you don't know, and you know how to basically make this a smoother appointment by letting them know the appropriate affidavit to fill out. Okay? So thank you so much, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day.